It started the way most explosions do. Not with a sudden bang, but with a slow, steady buildup of pressure. I was standing in my own kitchen, a space I've cooked in for years, a place where I've prepared meals for my kids with love, care, and attention to what they like and what they can't stand. But that night, I felt my voice rise, sharp and unfiltered, cutting through the air like a knife. I told my husband and his sister to get out. Not out of the house, though that thought crossed my mind, but out of my kitchen. And the truth is, this wasn't about one night. This was about years of small intrusions piling up until they became something I couldn't ignore. See, my husband's sister, she's 38, has been living with us. Not because I wanted her to. Not because we're some big, happy, extended family under one roof. She's here, and I've tolerated it. But there's one thing I cannot stand. The way she treats my cooking like it's her personal playground every single time I make a meal. She finds a way to doctor it up to her liking. Not after it's served. Not on her own plate. She does it right in the middle of the cooking process, sometimes waiting until I leave the room so she can sneak in her changes. I'll be halfway done with a recipe, and she'll slide in like a shadow, adding something I never asked for, something I never wanted. One night, I made steak and shrimp. A simple, balanced dinner, the shrimp perfectly seasoned and already cooked. I left the kitchen for just a moment, and when I came back, she had thrown in an entire stick of butter, not melted over the top, dumped into the pan of finished shrimp. She turned to me with a little smirk and said, "I'm pretty sure that's the taste you were looking for." It wasn't. It was greasy, heavy, ruined. The shrimp was trash. Or the nights when I make spaghetti. My kids and I prefer a savory sauce. But she waits until I'm not looking and pours in sugar, not a pinch to cut acidity. I'm talking cups of it. 2 cups, sometimes more, until the sauce tastes like dessert. My kids won't touch it. I won't either. The smell alone makes me push the plate away. It has never been a one-time thing. It's every chance she gets. And it's not just her anymore. Lately, my husband, my partner, the man who knows exactly how much this bothers me, has started doing the same thing. Last night, I was making homemade macaroni and cheese, the kind my kids love, with burgers on the side. I realized I needed some veggies from the basement freezer, so I went down to grab them. I was gone for maybe 2 minutes. When I came back upstairs, I froze. My husband was standing over the macaroni, dumping in canned chicken, the exact ingredient our kids can't stand. His sister was by the stove, pushing chunks of blue cheese into the still-cooking burger patties. The sight of it hit me like a punch. I've told them so many times to stop messing with my food. I've explained, pleaded, even gotten angry. And here they were, together, doing it again. I asked them, no, I demanded, what they thought they were doing. Neither had a real answer. My husband mumbled something about just helping. His sister didn't even look up. Something in me snapped. I told them to get out of my kitchen, not calmly, not gently. I didn't care how it sounded. I was done. They both told me I was overreacting, that I was being dramatic, that it wasn't a big deal. But here's the thing. I've invited my sister-in-law to cook many times. I've said, if she wants the food her way, she's welcome to take over dinner completely. She refuses. She won't cook for the family, but she won't stop altering my cooking either. My husband can make whatever he wants when it's his turn in the kitchen. I don't interfere. But the moment I'm cooking, my work becomes their project. It's not just about taste. It's about boundaries. It's about respect. And it's about the fact that my kids are going hungry some nights because the food they like is being destroyed before it ever reaches the table. Imagine putting in the effort to plan a meal your children will enjoy, making sure it's balanced and fits their tastes, only to watch someone dump in ingredients they know your kids hate. It's not helping. It's sabotage. That's what it feels like. And now it's both of them. My sister-in-law, who's been living here far too long. My husband, who's supposed to be on my side. They're a united front when it comes to this. And I'm the enemy for wanting to feed my kids food they'll actually eat. I don't understand it. If they want blue cheese in their burgers or canned chicken in their macaroni, why can't they add it to their own plates? Why ruin it for everyone else? Why make the whole dish inedible just so they can get what they want? That's the part that makes me the angriest. They're not just ignoring my preferences. They're ignoring the needs of the entire family. So last night, I stood there in my kitchen, the smell of blue cheese and canned chicken hitting my nose, and I realized something. This wasn't about dinner. This wasn't about ingredients. It was about the fact that the people I live with, the people who should respect me most, have decided my boundaries don't matter. And when I raised my voice, when I told them to get out, they laughed it off like I was just being touchy, like this was some harmless little quirk of theirs that I should find endearing. But it's not harmless. It's wasteful. It's disrespectful. And it's exhausting. I've tried to handle it politely. I've tried to work around it. I've even tried to ignore it. But there's only so many meals you can watch get ruined before you stop smiling and start protecting your space. So, am I the asshole for screaming at my husband and his sister to get out of my kitchen? Because I don't feel like one. Not when my kids are sitting at the table, plates untouched, because the food is too sweet, too salty, too strange. Not when I've already said no 100 times. Not when I've made every effort to be accommodating, and they've made zero effort to respect me in return. Maybe some people think a kitchen is a free-for-all. Maybe they think a recipe is just a suggestion. But in my home, if you want to change the food, you should be the one cooking it. And if you can't do that, then you don't get to help at my expense. I'm tired of feeling like I have to guard my own stove from the people who are supposed to be my family. I'm tired of being told I'm overreacting when I'm just asking for basic respect. So I'll ask you, what would you do? Would you keep cooking for people who can't keep their hands off your food? Would you stand there and watch them ruin dinner again? Or would you finally, after years of being polite, tell them to get the hell out of your kitchen? So, am I the asshole? And here's my reflection, as your host. Sometimes, the battles we fight at home aren't about what they seem. This isn't about butter or sugar or blue cheese. It's about power. It's about whether the people closest to us believe our voice matters. It's about whether our no actually means no. In any relationship, whether it's marriage, family, or friendship, respect is the ingredient you can't replace. Without it, everything else curdles. You can love someone, care for them, share your home with them. But if they can't respect your boundaries, the relationship starts to rot from the inside. So, I want to hear from you. If this were your kitchen, your meal, your family, would you draw the line? Or would you keep letting it slide until you couldn't recognize your own recipe anymore? Because maybe, in the end, the real recipe we need to protect isn't for dinner. It's for how we allow people to treat us. And every time we stand up for ourselves, we add one more ingredient to a life we can actually savor.